All right, we're ready to roll. Let's see.
Okay.
Your YouTube meeting. And
Nervous now. Hold on.
we are we are rolling. So thank you everybody for joining us on the Not So Random Thoughts. Today we're going to talk about wills and trusts with our just superstar, Estella Blake. I'm going to read a quick bio from Estella. After working in the corporate world as a human resources professional for 25 years, Estella saw an opportunity to apply her knowledge and skills to help small business owners with employees. Since her passion has always been to help promote equity and fairness, unity and peace in the work environment, and for individuals, she started her own consulting company, Blessed Business, legal, employer solutions, and training to companies. The focus was on helping small business owners have resources and solutions that minimize their exposure to employment law violations and employee lawsuits. She helped them to develop and establish their HR infrastructure so that they could more easily manage their employees and have a work environment where employees felt valued and wanted to work for the company. She is a graduate of The Ohio State University with a Bachelor in Science in Laborers and HR Management and an MBA, certified professional in human resources, and a certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. She's taught for 11 years as an adjunct facility for a major university, both undergraduate, graduate courses in human resources management, legal aspects of supervision, and employment law. Estella has partnered for 25 years with Legal Shield, the largest legal entity in North America, to provide quality access to legal advice, resources, and assistance that is affordable for most people, I myself included. With this unique product, she helps individuals, families, and business owners have tangible resources that make a difference in protecting, empowering, and equipping them with access to their rights to justice and gain the legal literacy they need to make better decisions and have potentially better outcomes. Her hobbies include reading, traveling, sewing, and she loves spending time with her beloved nieces and nephews. Thank you, Estella, for joining me on Not So Random Thoughts. And we're going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about wills and trusts. Estella, tell me what is a will? Start with the basics. What's a will?
Okay. So a will is a document which provides who is to receive your property once you leave here, who will administer your estate, and that is to distribute your property, and who will serve as guardian of your children if you have any. And basically, when you talk to an attorney about a will, some of the major questions that they're going to ask you is, number one, how much are you worth? And a lot of people, they feel like, oh, I don't need a will, I don't have anything. Well, that's just not true, because most of us, we do, even if you have very little, you typically don't walk out your front door without locking it, because there's something in there of value, at least to you, and it would probably be of value to someone else. The other thing is they're going to ask you how much you're worth, and then what does your family tree look like, so they can help you decide. Well, they don't decide, but they can help you kind of navigate through where you want different pieces of your property to go. And they'll talk about some of the relationships. Sometimes parents or children have strained relationships, and maybe they just don't, they want to disinherit someone from the will. So they want to just work all of that out and make sure that you're thinking about that. If you have children, are you going to divide that property up equally? And then the other thing that they're going to do is they typically can give you a questionnaire to kind of fill out to guide them, and then to fill back in with any, allowing you to answer any questions that you're not clear on.
So wills seem like you kind of watch TV. It seems like wills are only for the rich folks. Who can buy, or who can have a will? Who needs a will?
Oh, that's a great question. Everybody needs a will. You want a will primarily because we have accumulated assets here while we're here in the earth. And you want to make sure that, particularly if you have children, you want to make sure that those children are taken care of. if they're under the age of 18. So you definitely want to make sure that your children are taken care of. If you don't have a will, what happens is the state will appoint an administrator to distribute your stuff. And it may not be the way that you want it distributed. If you have children, they're going to decide who takes care of those children. We had one of my friends, she had a sister, and her husband died tragically together in an accident. The children were all under the age of 10. She had 3 of them. And her mother wanted to take the children. However, the courts decided that they were going to give it to the brother, who already had 3 kids of his own, because they thought he was more fit. It wasn't that they didn't love the children. It was just the fact that it was more of a burden on them than it would have been for the mother. Sometimes, you don't, when you haven't designated who you want to have your children, you don't know, how are they going to handle your children? So that's one of the main reasons why you want to have a will.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it can go sideways in a minute. It just kind of makes me sad, because I know that some of those things have happened to folks in our family too. And I know what happens when you're not prepared. There's an environment of utter chaos. Right.
It creates division, and people won't speak to each other for the rest of their lives. And it didn't have to be that way if you just decided up front you were going to make a decision about what you wanted to happen to your goods and your children and other property.
So how long does it take? So myself, my wife, Mary, and I, we did ours several years ago. But I don't remember off the top of my head. It didn't seem like it took that long. Just the process. How long does it take? Is it arduous? What's it all like?
It does not have to be arduous at all. As a matter of fact, as I mentioned, you can simply fill out a will questionnaire and hand it to your attorney. Now, there are will questionnaires or wills that you can prepare online. I think you can download them for as little as maybe $99 and fill it out. But one of the things that they tell you is that you need to have an attorney review that for you. And that's because state laws are different for different, for different states. The laws are different for different states. So basically what you're doing is, again, the attorney's going to ask you, what do you have? Who do you have in your family? How do you want this distributed? It can be a very, it's probably going to take you at least maybe about a good day to just think about, what all you want, what all you have, and where you want whatever to go to. However, when you go to an attorney, the key thing in terms of when you're looking at time is this going to be a flat rate that they're going to charge me, like $300, $500, $1,000, or is this something that they're going to charge me an hourly rate? And if at all possible, you want to get someone that's going to give you a flat rate.
Okay.
And yes.
And so what makes it official? Is the fact that you've got an attorney preparing your documents? What makes a will official?
That's a great question. What makes it official is the fact that typically, I know in the state of Ohio, now different laws are different. Laws are different in different states. Like in Georgia, they have to have it notarized. But here in Ohio, we do not have to have ours notarized. We just need to have, you need to have 2 people who are not included in the will sign the document. Okay. And so that makes it official. Now, some states, you can file your will with the clerk of courts. We don't necessarily do that here in Ohio either.
Okay. Now, we have wills, we have trusts. Mm-hmm. Can you explain the difference between a will and a trust?
Okay. A trust is where it allows a third party or a trustee to hold the assets and on behalf of the beneficiaries. And that property passes outside of a probate court, and property can be passed immediately as opposed to being held up in probate. and directly to the named beneficiaries. Unlike a will, a trust passes property outside of the probate court, and there's no court or attorney fees after that trustee fee has been set up initially. So that's the key thing with a trust. And it can be very beneficial. Let's say that you have a family member and you want to leave them some money or property, and it goes through probate, and perhaps they're on some kind of assistance, maybe SSI or something like that. If it goes through a will, that has to go through probate. And so the state will know what that individual has, and it could impact their benefits. Versus if you pass that to them in a trust, nobody knows anything because it's private.
Okay, so you can have you can have a will and a trust?
You can have a will and you can have a trust, yes.
Okay. And so the benefits of having, so there's obviously there's benefits and then dangers of not. So the benefits of having a trust is that you bypass probate. What exactly is
And you can even lower some taxes on that too. And I just need to make a caveat here. I am not an attorney. I represent a whole network of attorneys nationally. So
okay, so not an attorney, not a tax professional.
Right.
You have an understanding. Now, probate, I've heard it. I kind of understand it. Can you talk a little bit more about probate?
Probate is where all of your assets and whatnot are, defined. Somebody will come in and they'll assess, what you have, and then it goes to probate. And then what the courts do, that judge does, is they will decide what goes where after all of your debts and whatnot have been settled. The judge will decide where the property goes. Now, one of the downfalls of having probate or of having it go through probate is typically you have to pay an attorney to help you settle that. Right. Whereas if you already have that set up, you can still have an attorney kind of walk you through it, but it will be nothing in cost compared to if you didn't have that.
So the dangers of not having a will or having a trust, what are they? It sounds like chaos is one of the big dangers, one of the pitfalls of not being prepared.
Mm-hmm. Again, the key danger is that all the things that you have worked hard for, somebody else makes a decision about that. It can create havoc in your family relationships. It can leave your children at risk. Being placed somewhere where you would have never wanted to have them placed. It can also, you have no control over anything that happens when you could have had control. And I know for a lot of people, they don't get a will, again, because number one, they think they don't have anything, or they think it's just way too expensive. However, with the service that I offer, they can get it for almost, I won't say free, but it is just very, very nominal. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, let's get into that right now. Tell me about Legal Shield and how people benefit. Because I mean, having access to legal representation is big, and people don't understand that you can use legal representation from a traffic stop on. So talk about Legal Shield.
So
I enjoy it.
And just a high level, like a 5-minute overview. First of all, with Legal Shield, what you get is unlimited legal consultation. I don't know if people know or not, but the average cost of an attorney nationwide, that would be from California to New York and from Idaho down to Mississippi, is $284 per hour. So typically, whenever something comes up in our life, whether it's a legal question, a concern, or a situation, we try to handle it on our own because we have to check our wallets before we can check our rights. But with Legal Shield, and I'll just go ahead and say it now, for as little as, well, it's only $24.95 per month. These are the following things that you get. Unlimited legal consultation on personal matters. We also have a business plan, and we can talk about that at another time. But and that covers you, your spouse or significant other, and all your children under the age of 26 if they're still living at home, never been married, or they're in college. So lots of times things come up and you're like, I wonder what I need to do or whatnot. And you make decisions with bad information because you don't know the laws. The other thing that you get is they will write letters and make phone calls on your behalf um, at no additional charge. If they deem that the situation would help you, they will call an attorney. I'm sorry, they will write a letter or make a phone call for you. I had a situation where I had a contractor try to get some pests out of my yard, critter control, and he quoted me one price on the phone, $39 per animal. And when I asked him for the invoice after he had caught 9 animals, he charged me $59 and he tacked on some additional charges. I was angry at first, and then I went into peace mode because I'm like, I'll just call my attorney, which I did. The attorney wrote a letter, page-and-a-half letter explaining, what my rights were. And the gentleman didn't get back to us right away. So the attorney just happened to call me back and he said, I want to know how that turned out. And I told him, well, I haven't heard anything. So he said, don't worry about it. I'll give him a call. I don't know what he said, but I'm sure he told him what the laws were. And 4 days later, I got a corrected bill, which took $280 off of that bill for me. Without Legal Shield, the chances of me calling an attorney to dispute that were null, because I'm not going to spend $200-300 an hour to try to find out what my rights are. And I was going to have to pay it, because if I didn't pay it, he can put a lien against my home. So I was able to use my legal muscle. The other thing we provide is they review contracts and documents for you. Up to 15 pages, no limit. You can have 1 document or you can have 20 documents. They will review those for you. We sign things all the time, whether you're leasing a car or you're having some contractor do some work on your home, or just all kinds of things we sign. We're not attorneys. We do that in good faith. Those contracts were typically written by an attorney, but it usually is for the benefit of the other party. And we need to know what's in there that can save us a lot of heartache and drama, or can, like sometimes people purchase a car and they've tacked on some additional fees in there for vehicle prep. They call it something else and you don't know it. And so now you've got $1,500 hidden in there, or $1,000 hidden in there that you're going to pay interest on. Whereas if before you sign that document, you can take a picture, send it to your law firm and say, I want you to, look this over, make sure everything is okay. And they can tell you what you need to do. And then the other thing we provide is a will, a living will, healthcare power of attorney, and durable power of attorney or financial power of attorney. We do all of that for the same cost of $24.95. There's no additional charge, and you get Go ahead.
You can have an attorney prepare your will as a part of your Legal Shield.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, having your will and your trust prepared should streamline your processes. At the point in which you pass away.
And not only that, what they get is, I had mentioned a questionnaire. So you'll have a questionnaire. You can even fill out your will on your phone. We have an app for that.
Okay.
But what the beautiful thing about with Legal Shield, as opposed to sometimes people, they'll try to get a will and download it from the internet. They tell you you need to review it, have it reviewed with an attorney. However, with us, you have unlimited consultation. I've had people get their wills done, husband and wife, and they probably have called the attorneys like 8-9 times because they, well, how do I handle this? Well, how do I handle that? They will have an estate attorney walking them through so that they don't have to guess. And that's the other beautiful thing about Legal Shield, is that you have a nationwide network of attorneys. And I know people are like, how do you do all that for $24.95 a month? That's just unreal. That's unheard of. Well, the reason why we can do that is because of shared economy. It's not your $24.95 a month and my $24.95 per month. It is like we represent over 4.1 million lives. So it's all of us paying in, and the law firms get a portion of that every month. So our attorneys are sitting there, they're already paid, and they're sitting there waiting to serve us rather than waiting to bill us.
Understandable. Now, when it comes to planning, estate planning, what
Mhm.
documents, what do we need to, what do we need to take with us to prepare to hand all this stuff over? How do we get this started?
So the things that you want to do is they're going to look at what property do you have. Examples would be what are some of now you're not going to put your 401ks and your IRAs and whatnot. Those are all documents that typically are outside of the will. But you will have in there like all of your like your assets. Assets might be hold on a second here. They're looking for anything that would have value. It could be heirlooms. It could be
Accounts?
beg your pardon?
Bank
Checking,
account?
absolutely. Checking accounts, all of those type of things, any kind of high value thing like credit cards. Well, that would, on the other side of that, they're going to look at your assets first, like your home, your car, any high value items like artwork and jewelry. And they'll tally up all of that, and then they will subtract out of that like your loans, your credit cards, your mortgage and whatnot. And then whatever the difference is after your mortgage balance is paid off, that goes into the distribution for your
assets versus liabilities.
Right. So whatever is left over, it is what will be distributed to your heirs.
Now, when I'm not quite 50 years old yet. So should I, at the process of changing a will, do I, as I get older, my kids get older, they graduate high school, they're in college, whatever the case, when do I change it, or how did I keep that in mind?
Whenever you have a major life event, you want to change it. If you have another child, if there's a death in the family, maybe you were going to leave something to a brother and, they're no longer here, you need to change that. Anytime you get like divorce or you buy a new home or your income increases, anytime that happens, you want to make sure that you get your will updated. And you want to check with your attorney. If you have an attorney outside of Legal Shield that prepares your will, you want to check with them to find out, what will they charge you to update your will? Because typically the average cost to get a will done in America can be as low as $300, but it's typically around $1,200 to get that will.
So I bought a new house recently, so it's time for us to update.
Yes, absolutely.
And our trust, or so both of them kind of simultaneously, you want to.
Right. Anytime your assets have changed, you want to update your will and your trust. And with Legal Shield for your will, there is no additional charge. You can update it annually with no additional charge.
Outstanding. All right, man. I don't have any other questions. I think that is very thorough. A very good understanding of what, wills and trusts and kind of how to get it done at an affordable rate for yourself. But the importance, I cannot stress enough, is being prepared for those eventualities because it takes a lot of stress off the folks that are left here. That's not something.
And the other piece of that is, we don't want to do it. But either because of cost or, it's just some people think, well, if I do it, then I'm going to die. You're not going to die.
Right.
And the other thing is that at least 80% of Americans don't have a will.
Don't have a will. You said 80% of Americans don't
have a will or an updated will.
Wow.
And a lot of people I've talked to, at least over the course of the last couple of years, I've talked to at least 3 people who when I told them about Legal Shield and that they could get a will, and they're like, oh God, I haven't updated my will since my ex-wife. Well, if they die, the ex-wife gets all of that,
Right.
So, yeah.
Get it prepared.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, Estella, I appreciate you for joining me on Not So Random Thoughts on a Tuesday. This information was outstanding, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Have a